It's October, and that means a few things. The trees change, the weather gets colder, and Halloween draws near. For me, this means I look for a bunch of scary games, and be disappointed at how not scary they are. But I've always found horror games, or games with horror themes, to be interesting. That's why I want to focus on scary games for this month. Our first game will be Knock Knock by Ice Pick Studios. The game opens with this strange looking guy being awoken by a knock at his door. Oh boy, look at those eyes. Guess I probably wouldn't be that happy if someone started knocking at my door at this hour. The paranoid Scowler, or Lodger as he's referred to, doesn't like the dark, so we turn on a few lights. The door is open, and we check outside. Nothing out here. And then it shows this? Is this a map or something? Another night begins, and we learn how to hide. I'm sure we won't need that. The house looks a little different from last time. We can also see the clock in the corner of the screen is ticking now. The Lodger says he only needs to last till sunrise, and that will be our goal for these stages. What was that? Let's check. And what was that? And what are those? I'm sure this is fixable. Was that a good thing? I'm not sure. Another one? Dude, I think you got a bad infestation of eyeballs. Come on, I just fixed that one. The night ends and we read a diary entry. A new night starts and the Lodger tells us a bit about himself. Dude, did you not hear that? That sounds like something we should worry about. So these house stages have you activating these clock statues and then you explore the forest. Not sure what I'm supposed to find here, aside from more growling. So we go to another eye stage and I start to see the gameplay loop. Run around the house, screw in light bulbs, and avoid these things. Walking into them will make the clock wind back, and if the clock winds too far back, you'll have to restart the stage. Each night has you exploring a different layout of the house and running into new ghosts. There's also this little girl voice that starts talking to you.
It knows where you are.
So turning on a bunch of lights and unlocking the doors doesn't look very exciting, does it? This is definitely a slow burn kind of horror. Some strange visitations arrive, but nothing shocking yet. There's very little music, and you'll mainly be hearing ambient sounds. The minimal use of music is something that I feel helped the atmosphere. Another house level begins. Look at the Lodger's face. He's so sad and torn up over this. And now he's got the crazy eyes again. Something I feel really adds to the mood are the things the Lodger says. He talks about how he feels his life is connected to the diary and its pages. Each page he found to be incredibly important. He's apparently a scientist and studies the forest. The land has been dying and very little life inhabits it now. Slowly learning about this mysterious place kept me interested. A night of ghost dodging goes by and I start understanding some more of the rules. If the Lodger closes his eyes in a room, you can wait and he'll find something. The clock statues speed up time and makes the clock go faster for a bit. When there's a lightning strike, it means something is in your house. Also, don't unlock a door if you hear it knocking on the other side. That'll transport you to an endless hallway. I think I'm starting to get the hang of this. Those ghosts don't bother me.
I want to finally, I'm home.
What? I'm seeing double here. That's what I want to know. Yeah, I think I'll let that guy do his own thing. In between each night, the diary pages seem to talk about some kind of game where otherworldly guests are invited. They continue and talk about more bizarre ritual games as the nights go on. These pages are something that I found interesting, and made me wonder whether the house was haunted from the start, or if the ghosts had been called there. House stage again, let's do this. Huh? What? That looks, bad. Mr. Lodger, there's a giant kaiju outside. I think we should forget about the diary and just scram. Huh. Outside we can find these leaf guys. Should I touch them? Okay, on second thought, this was probably a bad idea. Yep, bad idea. Outside in the forest, I saw a strange girl. Maybe I'm supposed to interact with her. But oh boy, is this forest ever annoying to navigate. Wait, was this lightning bolt always here? I found more pages of what I think are the Lodger's diary. It says there is some sort of program that happened. The government began taking away children. The writer says he took his son and went to live in the middle of nowhere. He talks about how young people wearing political insignias would come knocking on citizens' doors. People began giving the author their children to look after. Page 6 seems to be missing. The author has lost all the children now, except for one. A child who wraps themselves up in a blanket. He thinks it might be a girl, but can't tell. The next entry mentions children again, so I guess he found them? The blanket kid seems to like hide and seek, along with leaves and forced items. The author says he'll soon see what the child looks like, as it has discarded its blanket and started growing close to him. After those 11 entries, minus the 6th one, I'm still not sure what to make of it. Was the lodger the author? Did he used to have a son? How is this related to my current situation? In the following nights, I get chased by a bed, look for the girl some more, and find a weeping child who vanishes once I get close. As the game goes on, the lightning bar at the top of the screen depletes over the nights. You still there, buddy? Seems like it. I get through one last ice stage, avoid the monsters, avoid that, and this, and it looks like we've reached the final stage. Was not expecting that. Why is the girl from the woods outside? Why is she a giant? Why is she so happy? Why is she dancing? And finally, how is it that her eyes are 10 times creepier than the lodger's? Well, I know how it goes. Let's go outside. Hold on, what? Game over? How? Alright, let's try turning on all the lights first. Okay, turn off all the lights then. Oh, come on! I've tried everything and nothing works. Well, turns out I apparently, according to the community, got the worst ending. Ending? That wasn't an ending. It said game over. That implies to me I messed up and that I can keep going. It feels less like an open and shut playthrough when you just saw a game over. I would take any ending over that. Give me a dumb twist or something like the lodger ate his diary. Or he was a toy in a dollhouse all along. Or, I don't know, aliens. Just aliens. Well, it feels really incomplete just reaching this non-ending. Guess I'll have to start from the very beginning. My first playthrough only took me 4 hours, but still... ugh. This time, I'm gonna go get some info. I've studied up and I'm ready for round 2. To get the good ending, you'll have to find the girl in the forest and run into her. She'll give you a strange vision, referred to as a fragment of reality. Of course, this means you'll have to go and search through the forest, which is the worst part of the game. And sometimes the girl you find just vanishes and doesn't give you anything, and you just ask yourself why... But they're almost worth it with how weird they are. That's trippy. What? 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 Collect 6 of these and you'll find the girl in the background instead of the monster. So I got all the fragments, and when I got to the final level... Yup. Turns out that lightning bar is also important. If you don't have at least a little left, you can't beat the game. Round 3, yippee. By this point, I'd read up on the rules and learned how things work. The eyes signify a breach in your home. You can close it and lose a little bit of time, or leave it alone and allow a guest to come through. You can only see ghosts in the dark, so sometimes it helps to turn off the lights. It's also important to know which rooms to prioritize. I found it good to grab the longest rooms first, and stay in the center of the house. This way, I was able to react to breaches quickly. Having played the game 3 times now, I finally know what I'm doing, and despite it being my 3rd time around, there were actually new things I found. I ran into some new guests that I hadn't seen before, and felt a lot more accomplished when I escaped from them. This made my 3rd playthrough a lot less tedious. Alright, time to end this. Wind the final clock and here it is. The lodger leaves the home, there's the girl still looking freaky, then the lodge becomes overgrown, and that's it. Yeah, that seemed worth it. But in all seriousness, it definitely seems like an ending you'll have to interpret for yourself. As for theories, I have a few. The lodger might be delusional and in denial. He failed to keep his son and some of the other children safe when the program happened, and he's been having nightmares about it. At the end, he leaves the house, and that might symbolize his acceptance. However, my first time through, I wondered if those 11 pages belonged to the lodger's father. It mentions a son, and that could have been the lodger himself. Thinking up theories for this game was a bit hard. There aren't a lot of dots to connect. Knock Knock is an interesting game. It didn't scare me, but it did make me curious. The visual style is neat, and I do feel it had a good mood to it. I don't know how many people would find the gameplay very compelling, but it's not too bad. But the end of the first playthrough definitely had me annoyed, so if you play the game, you'll want to take a break between playthroughs. Icepick Studios has done some other weird stuff, and a few of their games are on my list for future episodes. Except The Void, because I can't find that game anywhere. And so, our first game of October comes to a close. Got any suggestions for scarier games?